Let's also take a look at Iowa with CBS News national correspondent Lana Zak, who's in Iowa City. So, Lana, early voting already underway. What are some of the top issues on voters' minds?
Well, Iowa's going to be unusually consequential in this go-around, particularly for a red state that Donald Trump won by 13 points in the last election. Here's the reason why. The trade wars have hit the economy here, particularly the agricultural sector, very, very hard. The diesel prices, gas prices have been part of the problem. And I'm going to play a little bit of sound for you from somebody named Jack Tilley. He's a business major. He's just had his first kid, and here's what he has to say.
You know, I can't say I'm happy. You look at GDP and it looks great on the surface, but then you look into each individual's life, and people my age can't afford housing, they can't afford to have kids. I just had my first kid. It's a lot to worry about, cost of living, housing crisis. There's a lot for young people especially to be worried about nowadays.
And I am hearing that from young people, from old people, and we are seeing that as a divide that continues to play out between people who supported President Trump in the last election and are still not feeling very good about how he's doing. In fact, his public approval rating here is down precipitously, and we will see how that plays out. Particularly could be an issue when we get to the governor's race and the endorsement that he just made.
That's interesting, Lana. It might be a litmus test for the president's popularity in the future, this gubernatorial
100%.
race. So who are the top matchups for the most contested races that you're watching?
Well, Iowa's first and Iowa's second are actually potentially in play. But I want to focus in on the Senate race, because for the first time since 1968, those top two seats, the governor's office and the Senate, are both uncontested. There is nobody who is coming in as potentially even a front runner. And when it comes to the Democrats, Rob Sand is pretty well locked in on the governor's side. But the Republicans, they are sort of figuring out who it's going to be. And Randy Feenstra has just gotten President Trump's nomination. He is up against, in this primary election, Zach Lane. Zach Lane is a businessman. He is still campaigning, even today, on President Trump and MAGA ideals. One of the things that makes him a little bit different, though, is that he also got the endorsement of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk's organization. So we'll see how that all plays out. The other thing is the Senate race here. That's the one that Democrats are really fighting over in this primary election. And it's going to tell you the future of the Democratic Party, at least in terms of Midwest voters, because we have on one side Josh Turek. He's the Democrat who comes from a working class background. He talks about being a veteran. He talks about how difficult it was going to school and having the wrong color of meal ticket. And he is up against Zach Wall, who is running more as a progressive in kind of a traditional liberal term. Though Zach Walz has come out against the Senate Majority Leader, which will make things very difficult for him if he, in fact, wins this election and has to face Chuck Schumer as his party leader. So on all of these, we're going to see what it means, basically the definition of those two parties. Are Democrats the party of the working class, or are they the party of progressives? And are Republicans the party of President Trump, or do they stand for something else? So we will see that as soon as voters cast all those ballots tomorrow.
We will be watching, and I know you will as well there. Lana, thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate it.